Thanks for tuning into the Conscious Hour. We're going to talk about the truth. Weapons of mass destruction. Oh, supposedly Iran has them. Well, let's listen to the weapons inspector and let's really analyze where that keeps coming from. And if you watch the mainstream media, you think they have nuclear weapons already because they're lying to you. Let's get into this one.
The Israelis have been pushing for a major confrontation with Iran for some time now. And they have been trying to get the United States to participate because the Israelis recognize that they cannot engage Iran militarily by themselves and prevail. They must have the United States on board. On February 11th of this year, Donald Trump met with Benjamin Netanyahu and the head of the Mossad, and they sold him a bill of goods. They sold him on not only the threat of Iran, which Donald Trump has bought into hook, line, and sinker, go back to the spring of 2018 when Netanyahu came and sold Donald Trump on the concept of a Mossad raid on Tehran that gained access to a nuclear archive. And then he showed him a bunch of documents to prove the Iranians were lying about the JCPOA and they were pursuing a secret nuclear weapons program. And Donald Trump is so stupid and he's surrounded by so many sycophants that they didn't do the obvious things, such as, hey, at least 3 of these documents that you're presenting us as new in this archive are the same documents that you tried to sell the IAEA back in 2004 and 2009, which were proven to be forgeries, forged by Israeli intelligence to try and do the same thing, create the perception of Iranian nuclear intent that doesn't exist. But nobody had the courage to tell Donald Trump that, or he was just too stupid to understand that, and then you got away with it. There is no Iranian nuclear weapons program. Never has been, and isn't going to be one. No matter how much people in your audience and elsewhere say they need to have a weapon. Well, they don't want one. So their need isn't manifested by your desire. They don't want one, and they're not going to build one. But Trump made his decision. Now he was sold on that, but more importantly, he was sold on regime change, that the Iranian regime is about to collapse. The inherent weakness of Vilayat Faqih, the supreme, the rule of the supreme jurisprudence, having the supreme leader, the Islamic Republic. He was being sold on the fact that the Iranians are increasingly secular, that this notion of Shia faith doesn't dig deep. The Twelver Shiism is a fanatic religion that exists on the periphery of Iran. It's not part of the fundamental essence of the modern Iranian state. And that if we simply just come in, kill the supreme leader, suppress certain military leadership, we can bring about regime change. And then when regime change happens, we will be able to shut down ballistic missiles, shut down nuclear. In the meantime, we have enough military force to prevent the Iranians from effectively launching missiles we can suppress until we can get a new regime to eliminate. The Strait of Hormuz isn't a problem. They'll shut it down. We'll reopen it. Again, we'll reopen it. The primary tactic is regime change. Remove the regime. The regime will open up Strait of Hormuz. Everything will be good. Everything hinged on regime change. The Israelis sold the president on this bill of goods. And the president now recognizes that regime change failed and that they didn't accomplish this, that the regime is actually stronger today than ever before. And therefore, all of the other objectives are unattainable. This is the reality. The Israelis sold this to the president, and the president now realizes the Israelis sold him a bill of goods. So where is Israel today? Well, Israel still needs the United States to be involved. Israel is operating under the assumption that it will be able to initiate an action, and through Iranian response, the United States will be dragged back in. That's one of the goals and objectives of this. The problem is the Israelis can't initiate an action without the Americans being complicit in this, because Israel cannot carry out an air campaign against Iran of any significance without close, continuous coordination with U.S. Central Command. And right now, Central Command is shutting that down because we don't want a war with Iran. So where are the Israelis now? Well, first of all, understand that they're getting their asses handed to them in Lebanon. I mean, this is about as embarrassing and humiliating as it gets. Hezbollah is supposed to be defeated, can't continue and sustain the fight, is literally stomping the death out of the IDF. They're beating them on the frontline contact, but now through the introduction of FPV drones, first-person view drones, many of them having fiber optic cable, they're bringing death and destruction 20 to 30 kilometers into the Israeli depth. The Israelis weren't prepared for this. hint, hint, America, this is your future if you want to go to war against Russia, because you'll not get anywhere. The drones dominate the skies. Israel can't move without dying. And so they're losing Lebanon. Before, the Israelis were saying, there could be no, we're going to finish Lebanon. No matter what you want to do with Iran, America, we're finishing Lebanon. It's over. And we played the game. We brought in Barak, who sat down and negotiated with it's supposed to be a Israeli-Lebanon negotiation, but Hezbollah wasn't part of it. Hezbollah is the only voice that counts in Lebanon today when it comes to Israel, because they're winning. They defeat Israel. And so you have Hezbollah winning, which is supposed to happen, and Israel has no chance of defeating them. We're at the point right now where Israel has to declare defeat. They can't win. They can't prevail. They're getting beat by Hezbollah right now. So that's a big reality. Two, the United States isn't going to play this game anymore. 60% of Americans don't support Israel. And that number is going to get higher and higher and higher. Israel knows. So what did Benjamin Netanyahu do? Benjamin Netanyahu said, in 10 years, we have to cut off our financial ties to the United States. That means the whole enterprise, the whole Thomas Massey, we will outspend you and buy American democracy enterprise is going away, because Israel recognizes that while you may be able to vote out Thomas Massey in the long term, the enterprise is going to collapse. So they need an additional source of funding. Where are they going to get their money? Well, it's not going to come from the inherent economic strength of Israel, which was supposed to happen with the Abrams Accord combined with the India, Middle East, European Economic Corridor. That's not going to happen. None of that's going to happen. So where does Israel get its replacement for American largesse? The answer is the United Arab Emirates. Netanyahu has admitted he traveled to the UAE during the war. Israel has sent troops to the UAE to protect them with air defense. And the UAE has pulled out of OPEC Plus and has gone on its own to sell maximum amounts of energy on the market to do what? To underwrite the Israeli security architecture that will replace the failed American architecture over the United Arab Emirates. And this vehicle, Israel UAE, will be used to sustain the conflict against Iran. That's their theory. That's their bet. The problem are the Iranians, who have just basically come out and said, we will terminate the UAE's existence as a viable modern nation state on day one if the conflict begins. And it's very easy to do. You shut down energy production, very vulnerable to that. You shut down desalination plant, no water. Right now it's 50, 54 degrees in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. You don't have drinking water, you die. And you shut down power generation, which means no air conditioning. So basically the UAE, which has sold itself as one of the most technologically, societally modern societies in the region, will die. The Iranians say, we'll bring you back to the age of the camel, which is true. If you take out water, you take out energy, they got nothing. And this will happen instantaneously. The Iranians have said that once this starts, they will begin wave after wave, every hour, firing nonstop missiles and drones against an entire spectrum of targets, inclusive of energy targets and desalination plants in the UAE. It'll go for hour after hour, day after day, week after week, and Iran has the forces to sustain this. America, at best, can continue a conflict on the scope and scale of the 37-day war for a week. Then we run out of everything. We run out of long-range standoff strike weapons. We run out of air defense, and the Iranians will not run out of it. This is the reality. This is why the United States can't attack Iran, because to do so, it's not just a temporary reduction of energy production capacity going to market. It's the permanent elimination of significant quantities of energy going to market, and there's nothing to replace it in the global energy. So you will get a collapse of the global economy. And we're talking about when you cut off this much oil, refineries stop working. When they stop working, they go away. Pipelines cease to function, they go away. The entire infrastructure that the globe needs to survive starts to crash because we can't keep the energy in that the world needs. And you start having these deficits, economies collapse, and it's a spinning, spiraling effect. And we come back then to the United States and the American consumer. It's the economy, stupid. And the president...
There we are, folks. So we got to end it. Hopefully Donald Trump tells Netanyahu goodbye and the Israeli lobby goodbye, because you wanted to bankrupt our country. You want to flush us down the drain so Netanyahu can win his dream. Well, Netanyahu's lost. And if there's victory, if there's justice in this world, he'll be tried in The Hague. This is The Conscious Hour. Please hit the like and share button. Please hit the like and share button. Get my voice out there so I can continue to grow my audience. And please, if you can, please donate to the 501c3. That's The Conscious Hour. Thanks for tuning in, and spread the word.